chief psychiatric resident at Yale University, Amanda Calhoun, recently told Joy Reid it's okay to cut off family members if they voted for Trump and tell them, I'm not going to be around you this holiday. Oh, how pure. It's like not letting certain people sit with you on the bus. She also said that it shouldn't be automatic that family members think they're entitled to your time. She said that's just a societal norm. Family. Who do they think they are? Family? I mean, think about that. A mental health professional advising people to isolate during the holidays. And don't forget to drink too much and put on weight. And this Thanksgiving, before the big meal, remember to take turns saying what you're hateful about. You know who I really wouldn't want to have Thanksgiving dinner with? This overly educated, i.e. extremely stupid, ivory tower academic. But I would, because if we ever want this nation to heal, this is what we have to do. Force ourselves to reach out and find out why someone feels the way they do and make the choices they make without prejudging them a monster.
What's going on? It's Talks with Kenny, and you guys know Thanksgiving week's coming up. I feel like it was warranted to bring up this video that I found. Bill Maher pretty much mocking these mental health experts about, oh, I don't think you need to spend time with your family this Thanksgiving. And this points to what I've been talking about for a long time, how science has become somewhat politicized. A lot of these scientists push their worldviews and using their position as scientists to give it more credibility. And this is one example of that. Because if you've been following this channel for years now, I made numerous videos about the health gap between liberals and conservatives, especially when it comes to mental health, right? Liberals are far more likely to be depressed, anxious, or otherwise neurotic compared to conservatives. This is from the American Affairs Journal. Why are you telling me this stat, Kenny? Well, I'm telling you this stat to bring to attention how these people think. You saw from the intro, this well-educated, we call it indoctrinated person, is sitting here essentially telling you, oh my God, you got to be anxious because this person doesn't like you, whatever this. And I've shown stats before how like the least tolerant people are Democrats, right? And they like to pretend that, oh, you Trump supporters, you guys are in a cult. But what sounds more cult-like? Disassociating yourself from family members because they believe that this is a different solution to the problems that face our nation. And that they believe that this candidate is better at fixing the problems than this candidate. And over that, you would shun them, disown them, block them, disassociate with them. And this is what I'm talking about, where liberals like to pretend that they're not religious, but they are. Because in my synopsis, I believe faith is part of human nature, and that humans need to believe in something. And I think a lot of these liberals have replaced that religion with their political ideology. They have made politics a religion. And if you don't believe me, case in point, Joy Reid.
People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust. If this thing goes way south, autocracies go south real fast and things get ugly and people get asked to do things and turn people in and point people out and turn on them. And if you're voting affirmatively, gleefully for this, and people might, may not feel so confident in you anymore. That's real, and you kind of have to live with it. So if you think that you can vote for what people see as their destruction and then demand that they still are cool with you and kiki with you and have Thanksgiving with you, I think you're kind of missing the point of what people are upset about. They're afraid. And autocracy and fascism are things that are legitimate to be afraid of. So you may want to step back.
Like, does Joy Reid look like someone who is like mentally well? Like look at how anxious she is. Like, look at all the things that she conjure up. Look at the delusions she's conjuring up. Has that ever happened before? Trump was president already. Did any of that happen before? But for some reason, Joy Reid is creating all this imagination, and you wonder why liberals tend to be more anxious than conservatives. Because conservatives focus on what actually happened and using history as a sign of, okay, what could happen, what couldn't happen. Liberals, they put everything in their imagination and they think that's reality. They think their perception is reality when the reality is not. And this is another example of this. And I'm getting to a point here. Bill Maher blasts astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson on air for refusing to admit men have physical advantages in athletics. Like, imagine that. You have this imagination that men or women are equal. There's no differences between men and women. A man is capable of doing anything a woman could do, and a woman is capable of doing anything a man is capable of do. Ignoring all science, where it shows that men have a physical advantage over women. And not only that, men, if you look at how our brains are wired, we have faster reaction time, which is very a competitive advantage for sports, hand-eye coordination, spatial awareness, right? We have a higher peripheral vision, so we notice things a lot faster than a woman would. All these physical advantages. Neil deGrasse Tyson ignore all that. Why? Because of political. When I say liberals take politics like a religion, this is what I'm talking about. I already showed you stats before where liberals are less tolerant than conservatives, right? There's some crazy lady who keeps trying to convince everyone to break off from their family members if they voted differently. Encouraging families to break up over political differences is not just mentally deranged, but evil. I agree. So why does the left continue pushing this stuff? It's exactly what I outlined in the video. Many of these political people has substituted religion as politics, and I agree with the synopsis. And Consparian admitted she was guilty of TDS and that Trump broke her brain. Politics have substituted religion. I am 1,000,000% guilty of allowing him to break my brain. Most liberals would rather die or destroy their lives rather than admit that they were wrong about Donald Trump. And if you see a lot of people who said they walked away from the Democratic Party, this is one of the number one reasons why. Because they realized they've been lied to about Trump and they were willing to accept reality. Hey, I was misled about Trump. Hey, I found out because of video of Kenny's that Kenny mentioned that, hey, 87% of news coverage on Donald Trump is negative. Is it no wonder that people who watch mainstream news outlets like CBS, MSNBC, CNN have a negative perception about Donald Trump, a man that who they never met, but they have such strong emotions and feelings over? This is how you get TDS, consuming nothing but cable news, because cable news spreads nothing but negative information about Donald Trump. Look what they're doing with his cabinet picks now. I got a video coming up. Majority of Trump's cabinet picks, people like them. But the media, if you listen to the media, oh my God, these are some of the worst picks in history. More on that later, but I digress. I want to show you this clip, and then I'll end off the video, of this conversation with Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher discussing why Democrats lose. And I think the reason why they lose is that a lot of their voters, and as I mentioned this a lot on my videos too, one of the number one reasons why I could not support Kamala Harris was her supporters, the people themselves, right? And I just showed you, liberals, they tend to be more depressed than conservatives, more anxious than conservatives, and they try to project that anxiety onto other people. And then when you tell them what you worried about, what you scared of, they can't give you any proof or anything because they fear more from their imagination than from reality. And that's the truth about the modern day liberal. And this is why they continually will lose if they continue this, because they do not live in the world of reality. They live in a world of their own imagination. And that is the reality. Because if you look at TDS, you look at Trump, Trump is not as bad as the media tries to portray him to be. But who does liberals trust? 58% of liberals, majority of Democrats still trust legacy media. And if legacy media is covering Trump in a negative light, they'll come away with a negative perception of Trump, even if it's warped from reality. Because no one's 87% bad for the most part. But I digress. Let's get into the video.
It really, really was. And when you see stuff like that, Canelo Alvarez, Triple G.
Sounds like what happened to the Democrat.
How about that? And you know what? And that was an ass kicking. That was, if we're being honest about it, it was a thorough ass kicking. Ain't no way around it, Bill. I mean, you know more politics than me, but damn it, a blind man could see the Democrats got their ass kicked. Yeah, it was like, you know what? I like that analogy. Democrats similar to Terrence Crawford, Errol Smith Jr. Yep, that works.
I mean,
it was that kind of ass kicking.
It won't work on a lot of people like me who don't know who these people are.
Right.
Why do you think it is that boxing became a sport that I was always interested in when it was Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, and even up to who got his ear bit off?
Mike Tyson and Holyfield.
Tyson, Holyfield.
Right.
And it's been years now. Is that because UFC?
Combination of two. Number one, you can, and I love the fact that you made that analogy, because the kind of ass kicking that the Democrats just received is similar to a lot of that stuff.
What do you think they should do about it?
The Democrats?
Yeah.
How about having listen, I like Wes Moore, governor of Maryland, but you have, to use your baseball analogy, you have no bullpen. Who is it?
I agree. Democrats got no bench. Now we're going more on the politics side, but I'm showing you the voters, right? Because let's say Democrats did had a primary when they removed Joe Biden from running for re-election. Let's say they did have a primary. I don't think they would have picked anyone better. I'm being honest. Like I already show you. These are the voters that vote Democrat. Joy Reid, or the people, Neil deGrasse Tyson, these are the people that vote Democrat. Stephen A. Smith, these are the people who vote Democrat. Because Stephen A. Smith can see, oh, this is a bad party, but he still went along with the party chose. Right? Many people are calling Stephen A. Smith a coward because they're like, yo, you saw this coming. You saw the train wreck happening, but you were scared to speak up. You were scared to say, nah, I ain't voting for this. You still say, yeah, I'm going to keep voting for this. Yeah, let's go. He wants to complain about how the Democrats dropped the ball. Democrats got no bench. All he did was speak out against it, but he didn't speak action with his words. Many people think he secretly voted for Trump. Who knows? We're all speculating here. But this points to some of the problems with the Democratic Party in of itself. It's not just the party, it's the voters too. Because the voters are not willing to self-reflect and admit that they're wrong. This is the biggest critique about Democrats. This is why I made a live stream about how people are sick of liberals. People are sick of the leftists because leftists are arrogant. I make jokes all the time that, hey, there should be some study about correlation with narcissistic behavior with liberalism, because these people are so up on their own high horse. It's like they don't even recognize that they have an ability to be wrong, and they're not humble enough to admit that. So in my synopsis, they're stuck in their ways.
Trump's been the Republican nominee since 2016.
Yeah.
Okay? It is clear that that's who conservatives want in the White House. Okay? That's who they supported. They didn't give a damn about the 34 indictments. They didn't give a damn about 2 impeachments. They didn't give a damn about all the legal issues and the lawfare that the Democrats engaged in. They said, Joe, that's who we want. This is the difference, and I said this to a lot of people, Bill. The conservatives said, we want that guy. That's who we want. And the voters decided who the Republican nominee is going to be. When you look at the Democrats, they didn't do it with Obama. That's true. Okay?
Didn't do what?
They greased the skids. This is the person we want. It's her turn. It was Hillary's turn in 2016. All right, Biden.
Well, that's not Obama. Obama earned it.
No, that's why I said he earned it. But in 2016, and I'm not even trying to imply.
They voted. Hillary ran in the primaries.
I'm not trying to.
He talking about the super delegates. So the Democrats have in their primary the ability to like sway the vote. So the voters pick a candidate, like let's say Bernie Sanders, for instance, and Hillary. And if it's close enough, the super delegates can overturn their votes. Will have enough weight where effectively they can pick who the candidate is, right? And I believe in 2020 to help Joe Biden win, they did some gerrymandering in the primaries. This is all assumptions on my part. They left Elizabeth Warren in to take votes away from Bernie Sanders, so that way Biden would have enough concentrated votes to win the primary. Right? Take out everybody that would have taken away votes from Biden. Leave people that are progressive, far left, like Bernie Sanders, so you can split their votes. Boom. You set up Biden to win. This is the gerrymandering I think Stephen A. Smith is trying to talk about. But I digress. Let's continue.
I'm not even trying to imply that but remember, they were complaining that Bernie Sanders had some momentum and was compromised by the Democratic Party because they were saying it was Hillary's turn. Remember that?
Bernie Sanders, I love him, but he's too far left, and he would have been a bigger disaster than Kamala
That's
was.
fine.
I
But what
agree.
I'm saying to you is still in all, Bill, what I would, shoot, it's rare that I disagree with you. What I'm saying is the only thing I will push back on is that's fine. But that's for the voter to decide.
Right.
And a lot of times the Democratic Party seems as if they've got their claws in the mix. Take Biden, for example.
I already explained to you what happened with Biden, but I agree. Democratic voters will sit here, lecture to us about democracy, but they themselves don't have democracy in their own party. They pick a candidate, the party goes, it's gonna be hard to win elections with him. Like, imagine the perception that the Republicans had of 2015. 2015 Trump. It's gonna be hard to win elections with Trump. Let's go with Jeb Bush. And let's say they gerrymander with the primary election so that way they can get their guy Jeb Bush. Effectively, this is what the Democratic Party might have done right now by just, okay, Kamala, your turn. Oh, the party installed you as the candidate, as the nominee. We appoint you as the Democrat nominee. The voters didn't get to decide. Democratic voters sit down and vote for this. That's how the Democratic voters are looked at. And the way they get away with it is they take care. I'm making this option. They take advantage of your depression, your anxiety, right? They make you anxious. This is why, if you look at the Democratic messaging, it was all but Trump. Fear Trump. Trump bad. That was their whole messaging. That's why they felt like they could have put anybody and it would have been effective against Trump. When the reality is it's not. It's not enough to be against someone. You have to be actually for something. And when you look at Kamala's platform and you look at the fact that she's $20 million in debt after she spent $1.5 billion, and she was trying to pitch to you that she could fix the economy, but on her own campaign, when she's managing all the resources, she effectively went in debt. While Trump only had to spend $388 million, and he mollywopped her in the election. Make it make sense. And they talk about Trump being divisive. No, the media's reaction to Trump is divisive. But I digress. That's enough about me. I think, let me know your thoughts about Bill Maher, his synopsis, what you think about some of his points, some of the points that Stephen A. brung up. And do you believe that the Democrats have any future if they continue down this path? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching the end of the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.